So my name is Hilary Palevsky, and I'm a third-year graduate student in chemical oceanography. And oceanography is really interdisciplinary. So I do chemistry, but I also think a lot about biology and physics and how the ocean interacts with the atmosphere, which is part of what makes me really love the research I do, because I have to think about all kinds of things and be learning new things all the time. So the questions I'm trying to ask are about how the ocean absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And we know that the ocean naturally has a lot of carbon, and we know that since pre-industrial times, the ocean has been absorbing a lot of the carbon dioxide that we've added to the atmosphere. But understanding the mechanisms by which that happens is a little bit more complicated. Some of them are due to physics as the ocean circulates and moves around. And part of it is biology, and that's the piece that I really focus on. Well, half of the photosynthesis, half of basically the plant life we have on Earth actually is occurring in the ocean. We have these teeny tiny phytoplankton, which are small, usually single-celled organisms that are able to do photosynthesis, where they take up carbon dioxide and put out oxygen. So we know that there's this phenomenon that we talk about as the biological pump, where phytoplankton living in the surface ocean absorb that carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, and then they sink, or things that eat them later die and sink, and they take that carbon down to the bottom of the ocean. So I try to figure out how to measure how much photosynthesis is happening in the surface and what fraction of that photosynthesis is actually leading to that carbon being exported out of the surface layer. And sort of the main goal in the end is to try to figure out what we think will happen to the phytoplankton communities in the future. We know that climate change is affecting biology in all kinds of ways that are really hard to predict. And the goal would be to say, okay, so what do we think is going to change about the ocean phytoplankton communities in the future? And how will that then feed back on what's happening to the ocean's ability to absorb carbon dioxide? And how will that help us better predict how the ocean is going to change and how the climate is going to change?